Welcome back everybody to some more BeamNG.Drive. Today we are doing a little bit more Cardurance, but we're going to change it up a little bit. Instead of taking it around a endurance track to see how well the vehicle does, we will be taking it off the car jump arena jump. Now, it says on a sign up there, it's recommended not to go above 200 kilometers per hour, which translates to just under 125 miles per hour. So we're going to be aiming for 140 to 150 miles per hour with this selection of stock game police vehicles and seeing how well they fare. So now once they reach the bottom, if they keep in running order, they will be brought back up to the top in their current state and we'll have to go off of it again, trying to be able to stop before hitting the water pit and trying to keep running the entire time. So, the winner will be essentially the one that ends up surviving the longest as we beat it to death over jumps. So, without further ado, let's hop into our first car here, which is the... I actually forgot this car's name all of a sudden. The BeamNG.200BX, there we go. I'll just kind of drift it around down there, because this thing is really drift hippie, and yeah, drift happy, not hippie, but yeah. Not intended to go off more than 200 kilometers per hour, so get slowed down here, and we're going to just completely ignore that. This thing actually gets up to speed pretty dang quick going down this, so we are already at the zone, and I'm going to floor it now, try and get, oh, no. Nosedive, but whoa, we're spinning now. Lovely. We were trying to get a little bit of force from the wheel spinning to try and get it back flattened out a bit, but it didn't quite work, and the vehicle did survive at least though, so we're just going to get it turned this way a bit here and shut it down, and we're going to save this vehicle in its form so that we can move it up there easily. So that's how the Bishu did. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Blue Buck Interceptor Edition. So let's get this thing down here, and yeah, once it kicks in, this thing really gets up and goes. So we'll have to slow down here a bit. I know you can technically have two cars do a drag race down and do this, but it's hard to set up. I'd have to try and maintain them the whole time, and we are already up to speed, so we're just going to kind of get it there and floor it to try and even it out a bit, but it won't. And that's a bent-framed car. I think it said that one of our brakes were fading, but we've gotten it slowed down. And that's going to be another issue, is as you are as you're slamming it to a stop, your brakes are going to start failing and such, so next time you go, you're not going to be able to stop nearly as well. So, it fared pretty decently, and we'll move on to the Grand Marshal. Okay, let's get this car started up here. It almost drifts out of the parking stall, it can't quite get it. I'll chuck this thing on down here. Get it up to speed, and it's a highway patrol, so hopefully it can get up to speed decently quick, but my gosh, that muscle car I think actually did a bit better when we got into the zone though. It's not going to help us any. We have landed it, so let's get her slowed down here. Oh my word, stop! Oh. We're going to have to drive through the water because we've got a wonky wheel. So yeah, the rack and pinion... Well, I guess the rack and pinion is fine because the steering still works. But the arm going from the rack and pinion to the right front tire has given out on us. We've got no steering in it now. But it still drives, it can still steer. So That's going to get it on to the next round, even though it's a bit bananaed on the front. So we will move on to our next one, which is the Moonhawk Detective Special, I think? Let's get it over here. Oh, a little bit fast there, caught a little bit of air, but that shouldn't matter for anything. I think we might have lightly bumped the bumper. Oh, and this thing is actually maxed out. We are not quite going to reach 140, but close enough. It's the max that it could do. Let's get it slowed down. The light is somehow strong enough that it has bent the hood. That seems a bit ridiculous, but... oh, that left front side is sitting really far down, but... hit decently hard, but it still looks pretty well for what it's doing. And so we move on to the Burnside Special, which, if that vehicle couldn't, the last one, the Moonhawk, couldn't reach the speed, I kind of doubt this one's going to, but we're still going to give it a try. Floor it up as fast as we can here. Getting up there pretty quick, and we've hit our max. Couldn't get more than 135. That got our radiator, which is unfortunate. There go our hubcaps. Trying to get it stopped here. There we go. Our front end suspension and steering has seen much better days, but yet again another one that didn't fare too badly, although the radiator is leaking now. But nonetheless, let's get it moved back up. Okay, so unfortunately I just learned that with it loading it and saving the cars, if it has a broken radiator, you save it, move it elsewhere, and load it up. It actually does not keep the fact that the radiator is broken. So, radiator brakes won't really matter all that much in this, unfortunately, but nonetheless, we were leaving the cars off anyway, so the radiator doesn't really quite matter in this anyway. So we will move on to our final car here, which is the Sunburst Police Edition RS. And yeah, this thing's got power and it's drifty. So this thing should definitely be able to make it up to speed. Oh, and its temperature is actually really low too. Weird. Oh, now it's coming up. Yeah, pretty quickly up to the 140 mark. Try to keep it under 150. There we go. I think we were right at 150. And this car is soaring. Holy hell. I think this car is... yep, this car is also done for. Now... yep, no steering at all in this car. Now this is where things start to come interesting, because this car is going to stay here. It is now an obstacle that can screw over the other competitors, and it is right down the center line, which is pretty unfortunate, but we will move on over to the 200BX and give it its second go. See if it can handle another nosedive. Hopefully it doesn't nosedive again, with the aerodynamics on the front being screwed up on it. And unfortunately I am a Dutz and was looking around, and this thing is actually harder to steer going down this now. Might have to go slow-mo on some cars, but we reached the speed, and we are nosediving again. Oh, we've broken our drive shaft. Oh, stop going off to the side. Well, this car has no longer any power to push it forward, but lucky for everyone else, it ended up going off to the side. So, Unfortunately, the 200BX, while it beat the Sunburst, it is now knocked out in the second round. And we will move over to our good old Blue Buck here, which is just spinning that tire non-stop because it's barely touching the ground. Oh my gosh, the tires are really wobbly on this thing. It did not like that landing. Whoa. Getting really bumpy. As we launch it yet again. I apologize, I hadn't been doing so... Oh my word, this thing's ducking off to the side. Ooh. Yeah, oh, there goes the headlight. And I apologize for not doing any slow-mo at all. I just hadn't been thinking about it, but... Yep. That's the first car in the drink. Oh. Oh! It's not registering as being in water down here? But it is also stuck as all hell. I'm curious... come on. There we go. Keep it backing up. I know this water is real water, but apparently this car engine does not register it as being in water when it is. So that's interesting to find out. But nonetheless, that's a dead Blue Buck. And another obstacle, but if they make it that far, then they're screwed anyway. So let's move over to our Grand Marshal here. That's two of them that have died on the second jump. Hopefully we will fare better. We lost our mirror because, yeah, we only have steering in one wheel, which does not bode well for this thing. I'm having issues keeping it to the right enough. We are up to speed, so there we go. Let's... Oh! Brakes, brakes, brakes. Steer to the left a little bit. There we go. Brakes more, please. Thank you. Now, we still have steering on our left wheel, and unfortunately, this sand is super grabby, so it cannot move currently, but I'd say, no longer has any working lights on it, but I'd say so long as when we move it up, it can still move, it can keep going. Okay, so here we are, and it will still drive and steer. So, we will let it keep going in the next set of jumps. So now we've got our Moonhawk here again, which is looking pretty odd. But it can still put the power down, it can still steer, although it's hard to steer. I think we're actually driving slightly sideways, so... But we will floor it to its max. Barely hit 130 that time. And we take off a bit sideways. And it handled that one again, and I forgot to be slowing down. Had to throw it in reverse there a little bit to make it dodge that car. But, I mean, it survived it again. Has a little bit of an advantage with not going as fast. But, I mean, it's still nearly there, and it's still getting hammered pretty hard. So we will allow it to continue. And so we move on to our other slowpoke, which is the Burnside Special. Kinda sucks that they can't quite hit the speeds, and it kinda sucks that the ones that can't hit the speeds are the ones surviving, but nonetheless, it's just kind of how the game goes. We're pushing it as fast as it can go, so there's not much else we can do about that. Yeah, that one hit 128. Which has gotten the radiator again. Oh, come on, stop. Well, this water worked earlier. I swear it worked earlier. Because I think it was... Because I tested this out a little bit. Not because I really was planning on doing this, but because I was just goofing around having some fun. And I was just kind of doing this kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this with police cars and record it. But this water did work earlier. So essentially, if you get into the water like this, you are done. That thing I could not get stopped because it was no longer registering as braking when I was braking. So I only had the e-brake and it was trying to reverse, which counteracted each other. So unfortunately, it is now dead. So we move through our deceased vehicles to the Grand Marshal for its third jump, with no longer any working light bars and a front right tire that will no longer cooperate at all. I'm probably going to have to put this thing into slow-mo to get it down the hill. So let's just... Actually, we'll start it if I need it. Okay, so we are able to actually keep it going decently straight. This thing with that sliding tire actually can no longer reach the speed either. I'm going to accept that for that run, but if it can not reach over the 125 for what's the maximum recommended, next time it will be disqualified. It'll be ended. The next jump won't count if it cannot hit over 125. And so we move on to our Detective Special Moonhawk for its third jump. After this jump, the same rules will be applied to this, that if it cannot reach over 125, it will be disqualified. We are aiming for 140, but it doesn't seem like either of these vehicles in their states can do that anymore, which is kind of to be expected with the damage they're taking. This thing has surpassed 125. Seems to be able to do that pretty well still. We're going to get into the brakes early because we keep forgetting to do that, and now we're in reverse mode, which is pretty detrimental, but it made it down pretty smoothly. Not really much changed. If this becomes an issue where they just keep going for forever, it's going to have to up the stakes a little bit. Back for the fourth jump of the Grand Marshal. Which... Okay. Oh. No. Stop. Can we get that wheel straightened out? If we can get that wheel straightened out a little bit, there we go. I'm just trying... I mean, that would just be kicking the wheel literally to do that adjustment. I'm just trying to give it a chance to reach speed. And we're going to retcon that. Reload it back up. We're going to do that again, because that was just me being an idiot, unfortunately. And let's get that wheel pulled back in a bit again. It does still pull us to the left, unfortunately, but... At least now we shouldn't... Oh. I was going to say we shouldn't have the resistance and should be able to get up to speed. There we go. Let's hope it stays straight. No, I was going to say, if the wheel keeps it from getting up to enough speed this time, I was going to try give it a second run, but tear the wheel off, and that wheel has skittered out to the side. We did not quite make the speed. So we're going to let it crash here just for fun. Yeah, that broke the engine. Oh! Well, now it has water effects, but as I had said, because it couldn't quite hit the speed because of this wheel, oh, come on. We are going to give it another chance without the wheel. Which I doubt it's going to be any better, but I figured metal might slide better than rubber. It might actually work. We're not having to fight the steering nearly as much. And we are over 125. Now the thing is, it does not have a wheel to support the landing over there now. We're sliding at very rapid speeds. And we can't quite make it out of the sand pit. But this thing is still running. Now we've got it out of the sand pit, and it's trying to register the wheel, being way out there. So, let's... Yeah, that's unfortunate. But we might just have to deal with it as it leaves the tire leaves the map. We will shut her down and move over to our detective special for its fourth jump. And this thing, there's nothing really holding it back from hitting the speeds, so if it can't hit the speeds, then it's just unable to and is out, but we will give it its go, and I think it'll reach them. Eventually we're going to blow out the engine from over-revving there, and we have passed the speed. And we are going sideways a bit. But yet again we made it. We were actually able to stop before we even reached the sand, which is quite impressive. Now I've screwed up. I tried to put NOS onto the vehicle to push these cars a bit further to try and get them to higher speeds to make them work, but unfortunately putting it onto the car makes that the new save. So I can't load the way it was before. And technically it probably shouldn't have made it that far anyway because... because of its inabilities to make the speed. I kind of gave it a bit of grace, so the Grand Marshal will take second, and the Moonhawk Detective will be winning for us this time. And we'll just ramp it off here. Try to get the maximum amount of speed we could to chuck it down here. Oh, we are going to plow through the sunburst. Oh, that was nice. Ugh. Oh, that's inside of a wall. That's still inside of a wall. Let's get away from the wall. Now, I think... No, what the heck? Oh, yep, there we go. This vehicle recognizes this as water, but for some reason the others don't. Makes no sense. But, so, back to our Moonhawk here. We are going to chuck it down one last time. It has taken the victory. Even though it was slightly through technicalities, but we're going to take it up here, get it parked. And because we couldn't throw NOS on it, let's try and bump up the wind a bit, and unfortunately... So to assist it along here, we are going to be using this wind UI here. We're going to get it down, get as fast as it can go. Which, this thing is hard to control, as you can tell by me being way off there. So I'm going to have to slow it down. And now that it's at its max, we're just going to slow down time a bit here. And we're going to crank the wind all the way up. Oh my word, it actually lifted the vehicle off the ground. Was not quite expecting that. But now that we've left the ramp, let's get rid of the wind there. And we are going almost 200 miles per hour. And our winner will turn into a pancake. Oh, that's just nice to see. So, let's actually flip this thing. Whoa. It's very light now that it's paper thin. But that is our winner. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of BeamNG Cardurance. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.